Flic got in touch and said, "Hi Paul, we would like you to tell your audience what Flic Universal does in your own words." Are you sure you want me to do it in my own words? The new Flic Universal feature is a great way to call people knobheads across the internet without having to type anything. We shouldn't be using Paul's words. I've always loved the Flic buttons for doing smart home routines. I use it, for example, to change this room into studio mode from chill out mode and back again just by pressing the button once. It acts as a toggle and does all that cool stuff. Until recently, the Flic has always been good for triggering things like Philips Hue, or getting your mobile phone to send a text message, or getting if this then that to start doing something. We all know how I feel about if this then that these days. Corporate greed! Corporate greed! Corporate greed! Corporate greed! Corporate greed! But in order to trigger off quite a complicated sequence of events like I did, you would need to have a special hub and quite a bit of knowledge about how to trigger HTTP requests and have a hub react to HTTP requests. Very nerdy. Good for me, right? I've got a fancy hub and know how to send HTTP requests from a little button. Not everyone can do this, but Flic have just announced the most unbelievable news. They're now going to make it so that your Flic button can start Amazon Echo routines and Apple HomeKit stuff. Can you just imagine my head exploded because I can't be bothered to animate it? Wait a minute, I'll just cut it in from a previous episode. There you go, exploded head. It is that exciting! That is huge news! This is a game-changing moment because the ability to press a button and start a routine is the biggest thing to happen in absolutely ages. We used to be able to do it with Amazon's Echo buttons, but they're big, stupid, childlike things.
You really know how to push my buttons.
It's so immature. These are nice little buttons you can put by your bedside, and when your missus is asleep, press the button and a routine will start that helps you to sleep. Brilliant. In order to trigger Amazon routines or the Apple HomeKit stuff with your Flic button, you will need a Flic 2 hub. But there is a whole bunch of stuff that you can do with a little button just on its own. One of these things is Flic Universal. The Amazon Echo routines and HomeKit stuff is not yet available. So let's talk a little bit more about Flic Universal, which is what I used at the beginning of this video to tell that guy the idiot button had been pushed. This is a human interface device. What do you mean you don't know what that means? It means that it can act in place of mice and keyboards and gamepads. So it can control Microsoft Windows, Apple Macs and Androids in place of those things, or obviously alongside those things, using Bluetooth. Their marketing material shows some lady raining down condoms from the ceiling for some reason. It's a thing. That happened. I've used it for evil. I've immediately used it to trigger a macro in Event Ghost which just types out a sentence for me and then presses Control and Enter so that that sentence gets pasted into the comment box and then sent. Evil. You could use it for not evil. You could use it as a Spotify button. I've done this just now so that if you press it once, it loads Spotify and automatically presses play for you. If you double click the button, it skips track. And if you hold the button down, it goes back a track. This is really handy if you're the sort of person that uses a media center PC, but you're sat on your sofa on the other side of the room. It's like a tiny little remote control. The guys over at Flic have used it as a shortcut to purchase gear in Counter-Strike, which is utterly mental. The things that you can do with one little button on a PC are actually pretty much endless. Oh my god, why don't you just use a Stream Deck? If you've just said that in my comments section, I'm literally going to press that button and call you a knobhead. The Stream Deck is awesome, but it is far more expensive than the Flic, and it is wired to your PC. You don't have the functionality of this button being over the other side of the room should you need it to be. And now a word from our sponsors. Hey there, sport! You've been using Ivacy VPN for some time now. Is it fast? Is it secure?
Is it private? But you don't use it like a dirty, filthy pirate, do you? No, of course you don't. If you'd like to take advantage of Ivacy VPN like Reginald here, you should see the description for more details. And now back to our main feature.
Between the universal support for PCs, Apple Macs and Androids, and now the upcoming support for She That Should Not Be Named and Apple HomeKit, this is now the most versatile button on the market. I personally am going to use it to trigger a She That Should Not Be Named routine to help me to sleep at night when I wake up and I want to hear ocean sounds. I'm going to press my button and it's going to do all that stuff without me having to wake up my partner when I speak to my Echo. No more speaking to my Echo, now pressy button. Do that with your Stream Deck. Flic are giving away an absolute mountain of these things. They're giving away 3 Flics to 10 lucky winners. That's a lot of Flics. All you've got to do to win 3 Flics is tell me what I can do with my Flic. You can shove it up your... Not that! You need to tell me what you plan to use one of these Flics for. It can be as insane as you like or as straightforward as you like. Perhaps you already have a routine that you use all the time with your voice that it would be better to have a button for. Perhaps you can now think of routines that you haven't already invented that are better with a button than they would be with a voice. Figure it out, let me know in the comments, and whoever comes up with the best idea will win 3 Flics. And there are 10. So, I mean, you've got a really good chance here. Do it. On top of this, they've also said, right, get this, they're running the same competition with Brian from Automate Your Life, and they've told me if Brian's team comes up with the best idea, he's gonna get a load of stuff.
Hibbert Home Tech is a wonderful channel that I do not like at all.
We can't have that. If Brian wins this competition, if he has the best idea out of his followers, he's gonna get personalized Flic buttons for his channel. And if I win, I'm gonna get personalized Flic buttons for my channel. The man can't even do the Riker properly. Look at this. Look at that. That's not the Riker. That's not even it's not even got a back on that chair. Do the Riker properly, Brian. Do the Riker properly. I've also been sent this little wooden holster thing, which is super weird, but actually really cool. Let's get a little holster for your Flic. This is like a prototype thing that they're thinking of doing, and it's kind of like a remote control for your Flic. So, Brian released his video already, because he's trying to get the upper hand, like the jerk that he is. And some comments in there said that they think this would be good for disabled people, because it's easier to grab hold of, and I think that's a really good idea. I have to also say, they said in their message to me, if it's arrived with a bit of dust in it, it's because it's only just been made specially for you. But when you insert your Flic, it might get a bit dirty. There's nothing rude about that. Stop looking at me like that. So if you're interested in one of these, Flic have actually said maybe that they could give some away to my viewers. So if you're thinking this might be cool to try out, if you already own a Flic or you're one of the winners of today's competition, could be for you. Let me know in the comments and I'll get in touch with them and see if they want to send you one. It's Black Friday. You guys get exclusive access to Flic's matte black buttons. They're all Darth Vader-esque and I love them. If you're interested in a matte black button and you want to get a cheap deal, the Black Friday offers are on right now and there are links in the description as to where you can go pick up a very special, very Darth Vader-y Flic button. That's it for today's bonus Friday video. There will be the usual Saturday video tomorrow for your delectation. It's a good word, isn't it? So tomorrow is the usual smart home type stuff. In the meantime, if you've enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. That'll tell YouTube's algorithms it was a good video and more people should see it. If you want to see some more of this guy, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. If you ding the bell, it lets YouTube know that you want to be notified when I upload videos. These amazing people here are my patrons from Patreon. I can't thank them enough. I say it every single video and it's getting embarrassing. I need to find new ways to thank them. Best people ever. If you want to be one of those guys, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal. And either way, I genuinely will love you forever. These are my Facebooks and my Twitters and my Instagrams. Come and hang out there and we can be best friends. See you next time. Flic Universal is a great way for me to call people knobheads without having to press any buttons. That's literally a button. Try again. I'm gonna have it play like waves and stuff. Dreamy, right? What?